to today's morning mindset.
Good morning.
My name is Steve Milkey, and this is my lovely wife, Stephanie, aka KetoMom, for those of you who are tuning in live. So thankful that you're here, and we are excited to share with you what gets measured, gets managed.
I like your hat.
Thanks. I like your hair.
We just got done with the walk. I feel kind of sweaty. Anyways, good morning. Where are you tuning in from? Who did their morning movement this morning? Who moved their body? Maybe you don't work out until later. It's not a big deal. I was just curious.
So important. If you've moved your body, leave a fire emoji or a rhino
fire emoji.
Like you've charged for the day. It's so important.
Yeah. All right. Where are you tuning in from? Good morning. We're talking about morning mindset. Actually, today is about normally we go through the book and we go through chapters, and we are going through a very small portion of the chapter in this book, and we're talking about what gets measured, gets managed. But before we do that, if you've not watched any of this, hey, I don't expect people to go ahead and grab the book. Like, we actually go through it pretty quickly.
Rapid fire.
I like to learn something and take action on it. So if you have the book, awesome. I hope you're enjoying the book. There's great stories in it. If you don't and you tune in here, our goal is to give you a key tip or a golden nugget for you to go, oh my goodness, I can activate on that today.
So good. That's what it's all about, taking massive inspired action.
Do you want to tell them about what the compound effects basically stands for all the people who are new?
Well, I think about it as stacking habits, stacking BBs, stacking those things, those systems.
When somebody says stacking BBs, what does that mean?
I get super excited. Like, think about how hard it is to stack a BB, a set of BBs. But
can it actually be done?
Sure, anything can be done if you set your mind to it. I bet it's been done. We'll have to check and see what the world record is for who have stacked the most BBs. It's just a saying. It's a saying, hey, Lori, thank you so much for the stars. All of those stars actually go to an orphanage in Honduras, so thank you for being generous. Thank you, Lori. But stacking BBs is just that. It's like the compound effect. It's the other day when our CEO, we're hanging out at his house right now, our good friend Brian Underwood, he said the compound effect to him was the example of Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was, you think about some of the best athletes in the world. He would start at 4 a.m. He'd practice till 6 a.m. He'd go eat some breakfast, spend some time with his kid, go back to the gym, do it again from 9 to 11. Eat some lunch, go spend some time with his family, go back from 2 to 4. He'd go hang out with his family. He'd go back at night from 7 to 9 p.m. That's the compound effect. It's doing those right disciplines, the right habits, creating the right action in your life over time. That's what separated him from being just okay, good, to being somebody who's actually great at what he does.
Right.
And so for
it
us,
was years.
what that could look like, and that's the compound effect over time. And what that could look like for a lot of us is like, what are those dreams? What are those goals? What are those habits that you've put into place? How are you raising your children? How are you showing up to work? How are you showing up for yourself to become the best version of yourself?
So good. So
sorry, I'm
no, it's really good. The topic of today is what gets measured gets managed. And so the author tells a story about how he went into some crazy debt. And so I'm not going to read the story, but basically his accountant had him do one thing. He said, you have to carry around a small notebook in your back pocket to write down every single cent that you spend over the next 30 days. And so he said whether it was $1,000 for a new suit, 50 cents to fill the air in his tires, it all had to be written down on a notebook. This brought what is that word?
Where are you at?
Instantaneous? That was a weird word. I've never seen that word before.
That is a big word. We should add that to our vocabulary.
We're working on long vocabulary words. It brought instantaneous awareness of the many unconscious choices that he would make as a result of poor money management skills. And so every single thing. So
that's why my word is stewardship this year.
Yes.
Did
any of you pick a word of the year? His word is stewardship. Mine has changed.
Because you've already accomplished your first one.
Well, first
this
was
is how
trust.
Stephanie rolls. Like, she's compounding, affecting her words.
My word is excellence.
Hey, thanks for everybody who's sharing this as well. Tag a friend down below who needs to hear this. This is going to be good.
It's going to be good. Okay, so he said keeping a money log for 30 days straightened out his new awareness to complete a new set of choices and disciplines as he was spending his money. So he said, since awareness and positive behavior compounds, he found himself being more proactive with his money in general.
Yes.
So he said this tracking exercise changed his awareness on how he related to money, and he did it over the time, over years. He did it with how he ate, or the food that he ate, the things he drank, how much he exercised, how much time he spent improving his skill, how many number of sales calls he made, even the improvement of relationships. So we are going to talk about the power of tracking your behavior for at least 1 week. We're not even asking you to do it for 30 days.
We're going to ask for 1 week.
1 week.
To
Yesterday,
track your behavior.
We asked you, what is one thing you want to improve in your life?
It's funny. We got an opportunity to go to ASPI yesterday in Tampa and hang out with Dr. Ryan Lowry. We took a family picture.
Dr. Ryan Lowry is who created our product.
And if you're not drinking Mom Fuel, Dad Fuel, just type Mom Fuel down below because you've got to. That's just the bottom line. But we were standing. And this guy, I think he is absolutely in great shape. Like, he is the epitome.
And he's brilliant.
He's super smart. He's young and so wise. And it's interesting because in the picture, I was standing next to him and I thought, whoa, actually look kind of strong. I know, I'm going to go somewhere in a second. But I thought to myself, he's super strong. Like, when I look at Dr. Ryan, I'm like, whoa, he is a great athlete. He is on point. Mm-hmm. And standing next to him in the picture, I thought to myself, how many of you don't lie? When you look at a picture, you look at yourself first.
Everybody does.
I look at Stephanie first, and then I quickly look to myself second.
You look at yourself to see how you look in the picture.
I actually do look at you first, and I'm like short place second. But I looked at myself, and I thought, you know what, Steve? You're doing some things really well. Yeah. I'm proud of you. I celebrated myself. And I when Stephanie was talking about tracking things, I thought to myself, I have let my eating slip. It's good, but it's not great. It's not compound effective. Yeah. So guess what I did before this live?
He tracked his food.
I don't really eat much in the morning, but I drank my ketones. I plugged it in. I plugged it into my fitness pal.
You drank something new today,
and
actually.
You can't show them.
Oh, sorry.
I was teasing it. See, some people have seen it. We can't talk about it. It's secret, but I will say this is probably why I'm extra lit. Honey, you can't.
His brain is like rolling.
I feel great. And that's why I'm not trying to just drink this stuff. It's so good.
You're not trying. You do it.
Well, and I'm also tracking my things. I'm doing it. So track your behavior. It's everything. I'll keep you updated on how the results go.
I love what he says. He says, you need to track your behavior and whatever you're going after. Not all of the things. You can't do all of it at once. He says, pick one thing. So if most of you are focused on fat loss, we're going to talk about that in a second. If it's a relationship, if it's money, whatever it is, you're going to take 1 week in a notebook. You don't even have to do it online. If you want to, go find an app tracker. It's great, right? But he says for at least 1 week. This book isn't designed to entertain you. It's designed to help you get results. To get results, you have to take some massive action.
Massive inspired action.
Right.
Let's redefine MIA. I like that. You're not missing an action. You're taking massive inspired action.
Tracking is a way to get you back on track. You cannot manage or improve something that isn't measured. So you cannot make the most of who you are, your talents, and your resources or capabilities until you are aware and accountable to your actions.
All right. So that's it. That is the tip. And can I just add one thing to that?
You can add whatever you want. So I'm going to give them an idea. I'm going to read one more thing.
Okay, I'll let you do that.
I'll
save mine for the end.
So the action is, what is the action? Track for how long? Are we doing this for?
We're doing this for a week.
I was asking them.
Oh, there's a test. How long?
1 week.
You're right,
what do you want?
1 week.
1 week. 1 week. You're tracking something that you want to go after. So, for example, here's what he said. He said, let's say the category is you are trying to get your eating under control.
She asked 1 week for what? Great question. It's 1 week for what you're going after.
What you want.
What are you in the pursuit
Some
of?
people need to get out of debt. Some people need to fix their marriage. Some people need to fix their relationship with their kids. Some people need to get focused on their business. Some people, whatever it is. Some people here on this page want to lose some fat. So that's the example he gave. He says, let's track in the category of how are getting your eating under control because you want to lose weight. Is that anybody on this page? Is there anybody who feels like, yep, that's me? Okay, here's what he did.
What are you tracking this week?
My time.
Your time. How
I just
are you gonna do
hate
that?
wasting time. I'm going to have to write it in my notebook. I don't know. I got to think about it. I mean, that's what I want to track.
Well, I'm tracking my food. I'd love to know, what are you tracking this week so we can all hold each other accountable.
Yeah. All right. So
together.
Your task is to write down everything that you put in your mouth. Everything.
Oh.
From the steak to the potatoes to the salad that you have at dinner to those teeny tiny little choices during the day, the handful of pretzels in the break room, that second slice of cheese on your sandwich, that fun-sized candy bar, that sample at Costco, those extra sips of wine after the host tops off your glass. Don't forget the beverages. They all add up. But unless you track, they're easily to dismiss or forget and to make an excuse. So, two things. We have a friend, and her mom will say, I don't know why I'm not losing weight. I don't know why I'm not losing weight. And her daughter doesn't say anything to her, but she'll be like, I really didn't have that much. I just had a very little dollop, very something short, small. But it was like a huge spoonful, right? Have you guys ever noticed, like if you look at the back of peanut butter,
That's what I was just thinking.
the serving size of peanut butter is like 2 tablespoons. And 2 tablespoons in people's minds is like 2 heaping tablespoons. In reality, it's very small, right? So people over consume food, right? Or this morning we went on a walk and we had a conversation with a friend, a lady. I don't want to say her name. And she was like, I feel like I'm gaining weight. I don't know why. And I said something like, yeah, you can't eat all of that and the lifestyle, her diet food that you're eating. I was like, you can't add whatever you want and have all of your protein that you're eating. And she's like, but I'm not. And our other friend's like, yes, you are. You're eating your diet food and all of the other food, right?
So true.
It just, like, I think sometimes in our mind we're like, it's just a couple of M&Ms. It's just a handful of almonds when it's like a fistful of almonds, right? It's just an extra piece of cheese. It's just an extra snack. And if you had to track every single thing that you put in your mouth, he said it. He said, I started tracking and I was like, oh, I'm not going to write down those M&Ms. Oh, I actually don't want to write down that extra piece of cake because I'm staying accountable to me. And if you have somebody else look at it, it's even more accountable.
So good.
Right?
So good.
I just thought it was funny.
So we're talking a lot about the fitness aspect of eating healthier. A lot of you come to this page because you're like, I just want to lose, fill in the blank, right? And the reality is if your mindset is broken, all the other things, like if you can't get this right up here, nothing else is going to fall into place. I promise you. So that's why it's so important. We're talking about some of the basics, tracking your food. For those of you, like Stephanie's tracking her time this week because she wants to be a good steward of her time. Some people want to be better stewards, get out of debt. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to download the app called Mint. They're going to have to connect it to their bank accounts. They're going to have to figure out where all their pennies, quarters, nickels, and dollars are going. And we got to come up with a plan. For some of you, you've got some bad relationships. And maybe the first thing that you could do is go tell that person you're sorry, or you could find forgiveness in a certain area. You'll find so much freedom in all of those things. But we're going to track it this week, and we're going to hold each other accountable. I feel like you got one more thing. I got a thought.
Well, it's actually the last page in this chapter, and he says, here's what you need to understand when you do this for a week. It's called the unsung or the unseen hero. He says, once you start tracking your life, your attention will focus on the smallest things that you're doing right and the smallest things you're doing wrong.
So you're like your RAS and your awareness.
Right. And
is going to come to the forefront.
Right. And when you choose to make even the smallest course correction consistently over time, you'll begin to see amazing results, but don't expect immediate fanfare. He says, when I say small course of correction, he's talking about things that are almost invisible, but you're making these small choices and people expect, whether they expect huge growth or somebody to go, oh my goodness, I see what you're doing. Congratulations.
Yeah, we need to reward more people for consistently making the right decisions.
Well, he says there's also a part of like understanding of the process because chances are no one's going to notice that teeny tiny little shift that you made even though you noticed it. You didn't eat the extra M&Ms. You didn't grab the handful of pretzels. You didn't do it, but nobody's there patting you on the back.
That's true. So that's why we got to learn to celebrate ourselves as well.
No one's going to congratulate you. So you're going to have the discipline, the understanding of the compound effect to keep going. It's littlest disciplines. Let me finish really quick.
Make a suggestion.
It's the littlest disciplines that pay off over time. The effort and preparation for the great triumph that happens when one is looking, and yet the results are exponential over time. That's how he ended.
I agree with all of that, except for I would like to make a suggestion.
He said no one's going to congratulate you.
In life, most people are not going to congratulate you.
Right.
But guess what? This is a community where we're going to learn how to congratulate other people.
Yes.
I truly do believe that this community, for those of you who are tuning in, we're better together. Don't have to go buy the book. If you didn't listen to our CEO's thoughts on Mr. Hardy the other day, go check it out 2 days ago. It blows your mind. And he gives you some great great secrets and great tips on creating the compound effect. But the reason why I want to say no one is because maybe that's how you feel. Maybe that's the environment that you're in, but you're tuning in here for a reason and for a purpose. We want to celebrate you. So we want to celebrate you. We want to work on this together. And so the thing that I want to encourage you with today is start tracking something. Whatever it is that you're going after in life, just start tracking it and let's start celebrating. Let's start sharing it in the comments. And you know what? If you're like, I'm doing this by myself, you've got a friend. Each and every one of you, you are a leader. You've got influence in somebody's life. I want you to invite that person into this community. I want you to tag them, invite them. Let's do this together. I think about like if I had to move this couch over here, right? There's a big couch. I would show you. It's a big outdoor couch. Yeah. You think I can move that by myself? There's no way.
You're so strong.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Could.
I am focused on that, but I appreciate that. Good chances I can't move that couch by myself. But if you're partnered with somebody who cares and who's equally yoked with you, 2 people can move that couch. So I just want to encourage you this, while I agree with all of the things that we've talked about today, there are people who are celebrating you in your life. There are. It's in this community. It's Stephanie and I. We are your biggest fans.
Yeah.
Well, we want you to be your biggest fan.
Right.
Fall in love with yourself. Celebrate yourself. But we want to be your biggest fans.
How about this? Is there anything you want to celebrate right now? Like, what is one thing that you're proud of yourself for? Post it below. We'd love to see it. I had a girl that messaged me yesterday, and she's like, I'm down 4 pounds. This is amazing. I'm like, you are amazing, right? Like, what is it? What do you need to celebrate?
It's so true.
Even just writing it out will make you feel like, yeah, I don't care if it's 1 pound. I don't care if it's 0.3 pounds. Like, you're in a process of moving forward.
I agree. Your mindset matters. How you're fueling your body matters. If you're not drinking mom fuel, dad fuel, comment down below. Send Stephanie a message. You got to. You just have to. We got so many videos about how it's better for your brain and for your body.
Well, even just sitting at the ASPI labs yesterday, listening to Dr. Ryan talk about it, and it's been almost 7 years, and he's more excited today than years ago because they're seeing and studying and watching the power of ketones in the brain and just what it does for people's bodies. It's unbelievable.
Oh my goodness. Did you talk about Rob yet?
No.
Our good friend Rob. So he's been drinking this product just as long as Steffi and I, and he's in his...
I think he's 52.
He's in his 50s. But guess what? What happens after the age of 35 to your muscle mass? Did you know that it starts decreasing?
Every year.
Did you know that?
After 35, I think it might even be younger. Dr. Ryan says you lose muscle mass. Your body starts using it and losing it. It's gone.
Think about elderly when they fall. It's a big deal because if they break a hip or they break a knee or they break an ankle, it can be not just life altering, but it could be life ending for them.
Right.
Here's what's so crazy. Rob, been drinking this stuff for over 6 years.
So they did this crazy scan
DEXA
years ago. I think him and Brian did it.
Yep.
And it measures, what does it measure?
It measures fat, water, and muscles.
It shows your entire body and like how much fat you have, where your muscle is,
how much
water
bone
weight,
density you have.
All of it. It's crazy.
Unbelievable. But in 6 years, he's actually gained muscle and he's lost fat.
Which is unreal for how old he is. He's like, from the time I did it till I think it was 6 years or maybe it was 5 years, he's like, I haven't lost an ounce of muscle. And ketones preserve muscle. Like, this page, while will help you with your food, you need to understand the fuel system that you're using and what you're using for your brain, for your muscles, it's incredible. So
I got a message this morning that someone sent me, and they just said, I can't wait for the day where I can hang out with you and be in the proximity of where you're at. And I thought to myself, that's the power of this community.
Right.
It's the power of showing up. There was an opportunity that opened up. What's dad fuel? I love that question, Wesley.
It's ketones.
Dad fuel. Come on. It's so good. But there was an
opportunity
that we talked about the formula yesterday. We talked about the formula to success. And it really boils down to having a vision, coming up with a plan, taking action, and you will see the results. Our girls are fired up. They're excited. We're going to
Universal Studios today.
We're doing something really fun. But I would say this, with the message that was sent to me, I can't wait to be in your proximity. There was an opportunity that was presented to us. Stephanie shut the door.
I did. I shut the door.
I knew if we showed up.
Great.
I knew if we showed up, I knew it was going to be great. And so life is too short to sit on the sidelines of life. I don't want you to get to the end of your life and think about all the things you wish you would have done. Guess what? Today is the day that you have. You woke up. It's a miracle. There's greatness in you. Go make something happen.
Right.
Go make something happen. And so say yes to the adventures. Say yes to the joys and the pursuit of life.
Yeah, I love it.
And if you want to join us on another adventure, we're doing some really fun stuff at our house in Minnesota. If you want to be a part of it,
this summer,
just comment team down below.
Yeah,
we'll send you some information. Because honestly, I think what we're doing could be a part for everybody.
Yeah.
And we want to invite you into it. And you can play at whatever level you want to. You can. 90% of life is showing up. And so that's what we want to encourage you to do.
All right.
That's all we got.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.